Welcome to Module 3 of Basic Business Skills Training. The title of this module is Match New Venture Opportunity to Market Needs. The purpose of this module is to introduce you to the concept of marketing, marketing for a new business venture, as well as marketing for an existing business venture. The topics that are going to be covered under Module 3 are going to be as follows. Firstly, we'll define what is marketing. We'll look at the concept of marketing. We'll also look at the 4Ps model or the marketing mix. We'll also look at market segmentation, where we'll define what is a target market, and we'll also look at what is market segmentation. We'll further look at what are market influences, what influences your customers to buy your product or service. We'll also look at factors that influence the market. We'll also look at a topic titled Market Research, how you conduct market research. We'll look at the importance of market research. We'll look at the various methods that you can use to conduct market research. We'll also look at the steps in market research that you can use or follow when you're conducting market research for your business. We'll also look at how you can incorporate market research into your marketing plan. We'll also look at how you can go about promoting your business using social media. Here we'll look at the basics of social media marketing. Then finally, our final topic will look at the product life cycle, where we'll look at the various stages that a product or service goes through. Please note that Module 3 is divided into two parts. We have a Part 1 and we have a Part 2. Part 1 will cover the following topics. What is marketing? Identifying market segments and market influences. At the end of Part 1, we'll be directed to Part 2, which will contain the rest of other topics which form part of Module 3. Marketing is an important aspect of running a business because with good marketing, you're able to understand your customers better. You're able to understand what are their needs, what are their wants, and coming up with products or services that are actually going to satisfy those needs and wants. So in essence, marketing is all activities that you use to inform people about your business, about your products, and about your services that you're offering. It's about attracting people and ensuring that they become loyal customers, that they purchase your goods and products on a regular basis. Marketing involves taking your product or service to prospective buyers. These prospective buyers we refer to as your target market. These prospective buyers are willing to pay a suitable price. You also communicate with these prospective buyers through what we call our promotions, through advertising, whether advertising on radio, whether advertising via newspapers. Marketing is also a business function that is about understanding what are your customers' needs, developing products and services that are actually going to satisfy those needs and wants. Marketing is based on the 4Ps model, or what we refer to as the marketing mix. To be able to market your business appropriately and to be able to market it successfully, you need to understand each of these Ps in detail. You need to understand your product, you need to understand how to price your product and how you're going to promote it, and also how you are going to distribute it. In the next slide, we are going to unpack what each of these 4Ps mean and how you can apply them to your business when you are marketing your business. The marketing mix is a set of marketing tools that a business uses to pursue its marketing goals. in order to meet the needs of its target market. You can use the marketing mix when you're planning for a new business venture or also for an existing business. The marketing mix consists of what we call the 4 Ps. The first of the 4 Ps is the product. A product can either be a tangible good, which means it's a physical product, or it can be an intangible service that is created to meet the needs of your customer. When it comes to looking at products, you need to pay careful attention to the following. You need to look at what is going to be the features of your product or service. Make sure that these features respond or align to the needs of your customers. You also need to pay careful attention to what is going to be the quality aspects of your product. So, what quality controls are you going to have in place to ensure that you're producing a quality product? You also need to pay careful attention to packaging. Remember that packaging your product or service is not just only about protecting the product, but packaging is also there to promote your product. You also need to look at how you're going to design your product. What is going to be the unique features of your product or service? Remember, when you are designing, you also always need to keep what are the needs, what are the wants of your clients or your target market, so that you design a product that is going to respond to those needs. So a product or service must always fit the needs and wants of your customers. The second P of the marketing mix is price. Price is the actual amount a customer is expected to pay. When you are setting your price, it's important that you set your price correctly. It's important to do a proper costing and pricing for your product or for your service. So when you are setting price, you need to consider what were the costs of manufacturing or making the product. You need to consider what is going to be the list price of the product. You need to consider if you're going to offer any discounts to your customers. You need to also look what is going to be the credit terms if you are going to be providing or selling your products on credit. You also need to look at how your competitors are pricing their products as well. So you need to make sure that your price is aligned to how your competitors are charging for a similar product or service. The third P refers to place. Place refers to how you are going to distribute your product or service. It refers to your distribution channel that you're going to be using. Are you going to be using a direct distribution channel where you're going to sell directly to your customers? Are you going to be using an indirect distribution channel where you may have a middleman or an agent or a number of other intermediaries in order for your product or service to reach your customers? You also need to further consider the type of transportation that you are going to be using to transport your product or your service. Remember, transportation is also going to be influenced by the type of product or service that you're providing. For example, if you are providing perishable products such as food, you are required to have refrigerated trucks to make sure that your product or service is not damaged while it's being transported. Under place, you also need to consider location. Location in terms of where your business is located, how far or how close your business is located in relation to your customers. Lastly, under place, you need to consider logistics. The last P is promotion. Promotion refers to how you communicate with your target market so that they know about your business and they know about the products or service that you are providing. Under promotion, you are looking at marketing communication techniques and strategies on how you can make sure that you communicate effectively with your target market. Promotion is going to include advertising, public relations, social media marketing, sales promotion. Remember, when you choose a certain type of promotional method, you need to consider your target market as well. So if you are advertising on social media, make sure that your target market is using social media or is exposed to social media so that they are able to receive the message. So as a small business or when you are venturing into a new business, Make sure that you understand your marketing mix. Make sure that you conduct enough research to understand your marketing mix. Marketing is about attracting people to buy your product or service. These people then become what we call are your customers. It's important to understand your customers very, very well so that you're able to define them in terms of what they want and what they need. So it's important to understand your target market. So what is a target market? The target market is a group of consumers at which your product or service is aimed at. It's the group of people that are going to buy your product or service. It's the group of people that you as a firm or as a company create products and services for. To attract customers, you need to know who they are, what they need, and what they want. You need to understand your target market very, very well in terms of who they are, what are they wanting, what are they needing. Customers are grouped together to create a target market. So the group of customers that your product or service is aimed at can be grouped together to create what we refer to as a target market. These grouping are based on similarities amongst these people or differences amongst these people. Once you've identified who your target market is, you can then go through what we call is market segmentation. Market segmentation is further dividing your target market or groups of consumers with similar characteristics and needs and wants. Markets can be segmented based on demographics. So you can segment your market based on income, age, gender. You can segment your market based on geography, where they are located in terms of location. You can also further segment your target market based on psychographic, lifestyle, as well as behavioral patterns. Why do we need to understand target markets and conduct marketing segmentation? This is going to help you as a business to understand your customer so that you're able to develop products and services that are going to respond to the needs of your customer. Understanding your target market and also segmenting your target market also helps you to create effective marketing communication that is going to be appropriate for your target market. In the next slide, we are going to unpack the various groupings on how we segment our market. We'll look at demographic, geographic, psychographic, as well as lifestyle and behavioral segmentation. Previously, we looked at what is a target market and we looked at what is market segmentation. We are now going to look at market segmentation in more detail. As a business owner, it's vital that you understand who your target market is, but most importantly, you also need to segment your market. Market segments are created or composed of consumers who will respond to similar marketing strategies because they share similar interests, needs, or are within one geographic location. So you need to make sure that you identify firstly who your target market is. Then you need to further divide your target market into unique subgroups based on shared characteristics. So you can segment your market based on the following elements. You can segment your market based on geography. When we segment our market based on geography, we are referring to the geographic location of where our customers are located. They could be located in a specific region, a specific city, a specific country, or within an urban or rural setting. Here you are defining your customers based on a certain geographic border. Remember that people will differ, they'll have different interests, they'll have different values based on the area which they reside in, based in a specific region, specific city. Therefore, meaning that they will have different interests, different buying patterns based on that geographic location. You can also segment your market based on demographic elements, meaning that you can divide your market based on age, gender, occupation, income, and education. These people will have different buying patterns. They'll have different interests based on their age, gender, and occupation, and you must understand these interests. You could also segment your market based on what we call as behavioral segmentation. Behavioral segmentation refers to the rates of usage of a product or service. It refers to buying decisions like benefits sought for a product or service. It refers to readiness to purchase. It refers to brand loyalty as well as status. You could also segment your market based on psychographic elements. Psychographic elements here refer to people's personalities, people's attitudes, people's lifestyles, people's class. All of these can be used to create a specific segment that you are going to target for your product or service. Market segmentation is essential because it helps you to be able to create better marketing message that are going to be tailored to cater for a specific group within your target market. Market segmentation also helps you to be able to better understand your target market in terms of understanding what are their unique similar characteristics so that you create products and services that are going to respond to those unique needs. So that you also tailor messages that are going to fit that specific segment that you are targeting within your target market. So, as a business person, it's important that you define your target market, but you also segment your target market. Now that we've looked at what is a target market and what is market segmentation, let's try and practice and apply what we've discussed. So, think about your business, think about your products and services, and then identify who are the people that would mostly buy your product or service. There are two types of target markets that we're going to look at in the table below. We're going to firstly look at who is your primary target market. These are the people that are the most likely to buy your product or service. Then look at your secondary target market. This is the second most likely group of people to use or buy your product. In the table below, complete information that is going to define your primary target market as well as your secondary target market. So for each one, define the target market in terms of age range or age group, define the income bracket or income groupings, define them in terms of gender, define them in terms of geographic location, where you are most likely to find your target market, both the primary and the secondary, define them in terms of lifestyle, define them in terms of level of education, define them in terms of occupation type. By doing this activity, you are able to better understand who is your target market so that you're able to develop products and services that are going to respond to their needs and wants. By doing this activity, you are also able to understand who your target market is so that you can create tailored messages in terms of promotion that is going to fit in and be appealing to your target market. So as a business owner, you need to understand what influences your customers to buy your product or your service. What makes them to actually buy your product and service? So we call these market influences. So the first market influence that we have are trends. Remember, certain businesses will sell a certain product in large quantities and in large volumes because it's fashionable or it's trending at a specific time. For example, children might prefer a specific brand of bread, not because they find it tasty, not because it's good for them, but because their peers are also using or eating that specific type of bread. So therefore, in order to be fashionable and to be trendy, they would also want to buy that specific brand of bread. So as a business person, you must be able to analyze these trends and obviously come up with products and services that are going to actually respond to these trends. Location also influences whether your customers buy your product or service. People will buy from a business that is either close to where they work or close to where they work or along the way. So, as a business person, you need to pay attention to where your business is located. So, people are always looking for convenience when it comes to location. Affordability is also another factor that you need to consider. People will not buy a product that they cannot afford. So when you're pricing your products and service, make sure that you are mindful of affordability. An example, if a certain group of people prefer having fruit juice every day, they would rather purchase 5% um, fruit juice rather than buying 100% fruit juice because the 5% is more cheaper. So affordability is an important factor that you need to consider because customers will always buy products and services that they can afford. Competition is very, very important. You need to know who are your customers buying from if they are not buying from you. So you need to know who are your competitors, where they are, how they operate, how are they pricing their product, what are their products, what makes their product unique or different from yours. You need to analyze your competitor and understand your competitor so that you are able to compete against them. You also need to understand factors like supply and demand. Remember that supply and demand will always influence the price of your product. Remember, a supply is how much the market can offer. Demand is how much quantity is desired by the buyers and the sellers. So you need to understand supply and demand, and you need to also make sure that you understand the relationship between supply, demand, and price. The market is also influenced by what we refer to as a PESTLE analysis. A PESTLE analysis refers to the macro environment, which is the external environment of the business or of an organization. PESTLE stands for political, economical, social, technological, legal, and ecological. So, as a business person, you need to understand each of these factors and how they relate to your business. So, PESTLE analysis, let's look at the political factors that influence your business. Political factors will refer to things like government policy, government rules and regulations, industry regulations. It refers to the political environment within a country, within your local municipality, or within your district. So, how do these political factors influence your business? Various laws that have to do with small businesses, that have to do with trading, all have a direct impact on your business and you have to be compliant with those laws. Political factors affect your business to a huge degree in that all decisions that are made by government regarding any laws and policies will impact on your business. They could assist you grow your business or they could hurt your business. So it's important that you understand the various political factors that are going to influence your organization, or also those that are going to impact on your business. You also need to understand the economical environment in which your business operates in. Within the economic environment, we're referring to factors such as inflation, your labor costs, your consumer spending, your currency and exchange rates. All of those economic factors have a direct impact on your business. So you need to know those economic factors and you need to understand them in terms of promoting your business or your organization. You also need to understand what are social factors. Social factors refer to demographics, they refer to the population, they refer to culture, they refer to social trends. So as a business person, you need to understand these social factors because they are going to influence the behavior of your target market, the behavior of your customers. You also need to understand your technological factors. By technological factors, we're looking at things like automation, research and development. We're looking at technological awareness that is within your market. You need to make sure that you understand these, and you also need to be mindful how technology is going to affect how you actually run your business. There's also what we refer to as legal factors. Legal factors, these are various laws, regulations that are going to affect your organization. So this refers to compliance, like the fact that your business needs to be registered, you need to have a trading permit, you need to make sure that you're compliant with the necessary legal regulation as well as municipal bylaws that affect your business. So you need to understand that and those factors as well. The environmental factors, also referred to as ecological factors, sometimes refer to the actual factors that relate to actual physical environment. They relate to things such as climate change, geographic location, global changes, environmental issues. So as a business person, there are certain environmental compliances that you need to make sure that you are compliant with within your business or within your organization. So you also need to be mindful of those and also understand those. So in essence, with a PESTLE analysis, you need to look at each factor and relate it to your business. Remember, each of these factors can bring about a threat or an opportunity to your business, and it's also important to analyze each factor in relation to your business and also in relation to your target market as well. When it comes to marketing, marketing for a product and marketing for a service will differ. Remember earlier we discussed that products and services are different. So these differences in products and services mean that you will have different marketing approaches when you are conducting marketing for a product or if you're conducting marketing for a service. So in essence, a product is essentially a tangible good that you can feel, that you can touch, that sometimes you can taste or can be heard. Meaning that when you have a product or service, consumers can even sample the product before they actually purchase a product that you're going to be offering. But when it comes to services, it's going to be intangible, meaning that people cannot sample or they cannot see the service that you're going to be rendering. When it comes to product marketing, you need to first of all look at the market analysis. Under market analysis, you're going to looking at who is going to be your potential target market, what is going to be their needs and the wants, so that you're going to create a product or service that is going to respond to those needs and wants. You also need to pay careful attention to how you're going to produce the product so that it meets customer needs. You also need to look at how you're going to deliver the product or service in terms of distribution of the product or service. You also need to look at how you're going to receive feedback from the customers regarding the product or service that you're offering. Examples of products, remember we said products is any physical item, any physical tangible good that I can sell to my clients. So examples could be a book, it could be a handbag, it could be clothes, it could be a laptop. When it comes to product marketing, you need to have promotional activities By promotional activities, how are you going to advertise your product or the product or goods that you're going to be selling? You also need to do a market analysis. You also need to identify if there's going to be a need for the product or the good that you're going to be offering. So you need to identify your consumer demand. You also need to look at designing your product. So what are the key features in the designing of the product? You also need to have what we call our pricing decisions, how you're going to price your product. You also need to make sure that you communicate or you have promotional activities to communicate the products that you are offering through advertising. You also need to look into positioning your product and also selling your product. So services are different to products. They are intangible offerings, meaning that the customer cannot touch, they cannot see, they cannot feel the service before they purchase it. So a service is performing something for someone in exchange for money. A service cannot be resold. So it's not like a product that can be returned and resold to somebody else. A service cannot be resold. Examples of services include beauty parlors, salons, coaching. It could be include repairs to motor vehicles. Services are intangible. You cannot touch them, you cannot smell them, you cannot hear them. So this presents unique challenges on how you can actually market your service. Services marketing includes services, ideas, creating an impression in the mind of your consumer, and also building the brand of your business. When it comes to marketing your product and service, you also need to be mindful of competition. You need to be mindful of who your competitors are, what makes their product unique, how are they pricing their product or their service. When we look at competitive markets is when we have a large number of producers that are competing and we also have a large number of buyers. In a competitive market, the buyers and the sellers do not dictate the price because there's a high level of competition within that competitive environment. So in terms of understanding your competition, you need to first of all find out who your competitors are. You need to describe and be able to understand their business. You need to look at their products. You also need to look at how they're pricing their products. So activity 2 asks you to identify who are your competitors, who's your competition, look at what sort of business, describe their business, list the products and services and look at their pricing. This then allows you to make a comparison of your business compared to your competitors. This brings us to the end of part 1 of module 3. To continue viewing this training, please proceed to part 2 of module 3 video so that you are able to complete the training.